Welcome back to Orientation 101. We're going to be looking at Chapter 3 today. Chapter 3 looks at the advising center, a lot of information that you would get if you went to talk to somebody in advising. First, the college catalog. The college catalog is a very useful tool. Has a lot of information about the different programs, policies, and course descriptions. It has a student handbook and calendar, information about the staff, and most importantly, it has listings for your courses. So we're looking at English 102 here, things that you want to be aware of when you're looking at college classes. This one has 3 credits, and there is a prerequisite, a grade of a C or better in English 101 or the equivalent. And then there's some description down here. Provides instruction, writing of 6 formal analytical essays. 1 has to be a research. So in the college catalog, under each of the classes, you're going to find this kind of information, which is important when you're choosing classes. So what do you need to know? The college issues a new catalog each fall, the beginning of the academic year. You can have access to this on MyCalhoun, and also you will use the catalog of the year you started taking classes at Calhoun. So this is important because there could be changes made. Let's say you started this fall in 2013, and let's say in 2014 they changed something in the catalog that requires additional work. Well, since you started in 2013, you get to continue to go by that catalog, so you don't have to make the same changes that somebody who started in 2014 would have to make. So that's definitely a benefit there. Registration. What do we need to know about registration? Of course, you register at MyCalhoun. Since you guys are taking an online class, hopefully you've also registered online. And over here on the side of the screen, you see how to register on MyCalhoun. Most likely you've seen this at the Advising Center in your schedule book, and it's also on page 39 of your orientation book. Important information there. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to register. So class formats, important things to know. Where does my class meet? If it has DEC, that's the Decatur campus. We have one for the Huntsville campus. There's the Alabama Center for the Arts on 2nd Avenue, downtown Decatur. And then, of course, distance learning classes are on Blackboard. Some other things you see in your textbook, there's a little table here that has the different acronyms for the different classes, buildings, things like that. If you notice, there is an error. I did point that out myself, so I don't need any messages about that. So Brewer Library, no, Brewer Library, the acronym is not HSV for Huntsville. So what else do we need to know? When do my classes meet? So this is important stuff to remember when you're signing up for classes. If it says TR, that means Tuesday, and R for Thursday. Saturdays with an S, Sundays with a U. H is for hybrid classes, and W is for online classes. So what is that? If you click on the CRN number, you'll get more information. This is kind of the same information you find in the catalog, but it also gives a little bit more information as far as when and where you meet, which is important. Weekend sessions. Weekend classes last for 3 weekends and meet as follows. So first Friday, then there's Saturday all day from 8 to 2, and Sunday from 2 to 4:30. So important to know. Over here, the first Friday only meets in class. Subsequent Fridays meet online. So if you take a weekend class, you only have to go to the first Friday in the classroom. The other 2 would be online. So that frees up your Fridays, and you're only going to class on Saturday and Sunday. What else do we need to know? Here's our hybrid class. Hybrid classes, it's important to know they meet 50% of the time in the classroom at least, and then the rest of the time they would meet online on Blackboard. So when you're on My Calhoun and you're looking at classes, you're going to find a lot of extra information over here. Distance learning classes, well, we meet entirely online, which would be this class. We use Blackboard, of course, and students are not required to go to campus. So what next? Our course load. How many classes should I take? Well, let's take a look. Your credit hours determine your classification, so a full-time student is taking 12 or more credits. Now, if you want to graduate in the 2 years, this is a 2-year college, taking 12 hours will not get that done. You'll have to take 16 hours a semester to get that done if you're taking the traditional fall and spring. So if you're not taking a full course load, it's going to take more than 2 years to finish. 3/4 time is 9 to 11 credits, and half time is 6 to 8 credits. And then, of course, less than half time is 1 to 5 credits. Every little bit helps, though. Looking at the STARS program, if you're planning to transfer, the statewide transfer and articulation reporting system is there to help, and we will talk about this further in Chapter 6. So this is something that you guys will be utilizing in Chapter 6, so I'm not going to talk too much about it right now. Drop and add period lasts the first 2 days of each semester. No grade will be assigned if you drop during the drop add period. Obviously, since it's the first 2 days of each semester, that time has passed. Course forgiveness. So let's say the class didn't go so well. You can repeat your class. The second grade can replace the first grade in your GPA, but the first grade will always be on your transcript. Other schools may or may not honor Calhoun's course forgiveness policy, so that means that if you retake the class and get a better grade, the school that you transfer to may not accept that, so be aware of that. And you must complete a form at admission to request that a course be forgiven. And then we have academic bankruptcy for, let's say, the whole semester was a blowout. So you can bankrupt one semester if it's within the past 3 years. If it's over 3 years ago, you can bankrupt up to 3 semesters. It's declared bankrupt. All coursework will be disregarded in the GPA. So we can bankrupt. You must have completed 18 credit hours since the semester you're bankrupting, and just like course forgiveness, the semesters will remain on your transcript, and other schools may not accept that. So you can bankrupt an entire semester, but you do have to have completed more hours to get to that point. What else do we have? For calculating your GPA, the Advising Center has a GPA calculator online. Remember, different classes have a different number of credit hours. Orientation 101, for example, is 1 credit hour, and so that's going to calculate into your GPA differently than a 3-hour class. And of course, A's are 4 points, B's are 3 points, and C's are 2 points. D's are 1 point, and anything less than a D is no points. So what are we working on? Our Associate of Science degree. For students transferring to a 4-year institution, you need to take at least 60 hours. An Associate of Applied Science degree. Students going into the workforce after Calhoun, that's 60 to 76 hours. And certificates. We have a couple of different certificates. There's the short-term certificate, and that's 9 to 29 hours, or the long-term, which is 30 to 60 hours. And let's talk about advising. When can an advisor help me, or what can an advisor help me with? Understanding the steps of registration, setting up appropriate courses, know when graduation is and what you need to do to get there, what kind of obstacles there are. What does an advisor do? They help you understand what you need to understand to get where you need to go. If you're having a hard time with college life and transition, they can just listen to you and be kind of a sounding board. And they can also definitely help you set your academic, career, and personal goals. They can help you set up an educational plan, and definitely refer you to campus resources. There are so many resources at Calhoun that so many people don't know about, and if you go to the Advising Center, they will let you know what those resources are. Wonderful resources for you. And clarify any questions about registering with My Calhoun. Important thing there. So how do you meet with an advisor? Set up an appointment. You can walk in, first come, first serve, set something up online. You can even request a specific advisor, maybe an advisor that you've already met with that you'd like to meet with again, or if you've met with somebody and you'd like to meet with somebody else. It won't hurt their feelings. Go ahead and ask for what you want. And then our hours, important. Monday through Thursday, they're there from 8 to 5:45, and then on Fridays from 8 to 11:30. So Fridays is a half day. Please be aware of that. All right. So finally, looking at scheduling considerations. This is something that's very serious to consider, and it's towards the end of Chapter 3 in the workbook, right before you get to your exercises. What are you having to juggle? What things do you need to take into account? Are you a morning person or a night owl? Are you taking a full load or part-time? Do you have a full-time job? The balance is so important, to have balance between classes that you like and those that you don't like, and take some easy classes along with those difficult classes so that it's easier for you to get through the semester. So I realized we zoomed through Chapter 3. As I said in one of the announcements that I sent out, there is a test that will be available Friday through next Monday. So you'll have 4 days to get online and complete that about Chapter 3. So review your book and review the PowerPoint, review this video. And something I want to touch on, some of you guys are struggling with this. When you get on Chapter 3, planning your schedule, you guys have journal entries to do. Journals are worth 1 point, so please be aware. Create a journal entry. You go up here, you hit the Create a Journal Entry, and you put your little title, enter your message right here, and then simply submit post entry. So journal entries, you do get points for those, so please remember to do your journal entries. Something else that's happening that we need to be aware of: when you're turning in an assignment via Blackboard, please be aware when you are answering these questions. So, assignment submission. You can browse your computer. If you've saved a document, you can browse your computer and load that on there. Or type submission. This is where you're going to enter in the information if you're just typing in the answers to the questions up there. All right, so type submission right here. This drop-down box opens up. Do not put your answers in the add comments section. This is not where your answers go. So please remember that. And then simply submit. When you submit, it comes to me. I get to grade it. And hopefully you're getting these things done by their due date. Due dates are posted under the assignment as well. So if you don't turn something in by the due date, you get half credit for it. So again, be aware and good luck.